All right, let's keep going with the lessons. I'm going to ask you to find me the tangent of the arc cosine of 2/3. The tangent of the arc cosine of 2/3. Again, 2/3 isn't a good angle, so I'm going to draw a triangle. I'm either going to draw the top triangle in the first or the second, because that's where my theta is when I take the arc cosine of 2/3. All right, so rewriting this, I can write this as the cosine of theta is 2/3, because I'm trying to find theta. It's positive, so I'm going to draw my triangle in the first quadrant. And the theta I'm looking for, and the theta I'm going to use, is going to be this. So I know that I'm going to end up taking the tangent of that angle theta that I found. All right, so cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So this is 2, this is 3, doing a little bit of Pythagorean theorem. That's opposite. I'm going to get the square root of 5. So the arc cosine of 2/3 is that angle theta. I did my Pythagorean theorem, so find the tangent of that angle theta that I have. I'm going to say square root of 5 over 2 because I want opposite over adjacent. So the tangent of the arc cosine of 2/3 is going to be the square root of 5 over 2. All right, try number 15. Pause it if you need to. Do the problem, see if you can agree with me. All right, so my process. Arctangent of 3/4 is in the first or the fourth, because that's where arctangents angles are. So I'm going to pick it in the first because it's positive. I'm going to label my triangle because the arctangent of 3/4 is the tangent of theta is 3/4, so I put my opposite over my adjacent as my two sides. Pythagorean theorem, which I didn't do because it's a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. And the sine of that angle theta that I found in that first quadrant is going to be my opposite over my hypotenuse, which is 3/5. All right, so those are numbers. What we're going to do next is we're going to do variables, but it's going to be the same process. All right, I want the sine of the arc cosine of x. I want the sine of the arc cosine of 3x. All right, so this means the cosine of theta equals 3x. Whatever that x is, I don't know. All right, when we do problems that have variables, okay, the variables will take care of the signs for us. All right, so I'm going to draw this. I don't know where this theta is, but this x could be on either, but so I'm just going to draw it in the first. So here's my angle theta that I'm finding. All right, so in the end, I'm going to end up with the sine of that angle theta. Cosine of theta equals 3x is the same as the arc cosine of 3x. I'm going to make this a fraction. And I know the cosine of theta is my adjacent over my hypotenuse, so I'm going to put a 3x here and a 1 here. Just a fraction. We're going to draw these in the first quadrant. All right, now, Pythagorean theorem says that 1 squared is going to equal 3x squared plus, I'll call it a squared. Just calling this side a just because. 1 equals 9x squared plus a squared. One minus 9x squared equals a squared. I'm going to square root and get my opposite to equal the square root of 1 minus 9x squared. We don't worry about the plus or minus because these x values that we have in the problem will take care of it. And always an arc cosine's on the top, and my sine's going to be positive. There's always a positive movement also. So the arc sine of this, or not the arc sine, the sine of my angle theta that I have is the square root of 1 minus 9x squared over 1, which I don't need. Right, just take it as a triangle in the first quadrant, label it with what you have, and go from there. All right, last one, the tangent of the arc cosine of x over 3. We will draw these in the first quadrant. All right, pause it if you want to, or follow with me. My triangle, again, I'm drawing the first quadrant. So this is my theta. So in the end, I'm going to take the tangent of theta. All right, I'm going to label my sides as my adjacent is x, my hypotenuse is 3. Pythagorean theorem. And I get my opposite to be the square root of 9 minus x squared. We're not getting rid of anything, we're just rewriting it. So then when I take the tangent of this angle theta, which I found by finding the arc cosine, I'm going to put my opposite over my adjacent. We get the square root of 9x squared over x. Right? So we need to be able to do this. We're going to have a couple word problems on your homework. Draw the picture. Figure out what you have. Be able to go back and forth between this and that, and it'll help you figure out what you need. All right, if you have any questions, come to tutoring if you can. If not, send me a message and we'll talk about it. Have a good one.